Boulder plans to spend more than $100,000 cleaning its main library after the city found high levels of meth there.
9 News reporter Kelly Reinke was at tonight's city council meeting where members reviewed test results and figured out reopening plans.
As library director, David Farnan has never presented on something like this.
I learned a lot more than I ever thought I would learn about how users use drugs.
Several cases of drug use in the main library concerned his team, so they called for testing in the facility, which found high levels of meth, primarily in the bathrooms and a seating area.
We knew we had to meet whatever the state guidelines were.
In front of city council members, the library and health officials tried to address any concerns for the public safety.
Yes, it can absorb through the skin and affect you, but it's a much slower process, a much less amount of exposure.
Both sides felt confident the cleanup will fix the problem. During public comment, one man recognized the issue persists beyond the library.
I appreciate the focus on, okay, what happened in the bathroom? Let's fix the bathroom. Let's look more holistically at what's happening in our public and civic space.
There will be restricted access to adult bathrooms once they open in a few weeks. Children's bathrooms will open sooner and require a key card to get inside.
I don't have any hesitation for once the library reopens, letting her go back in.
The city is still planning to fully reopen the library on January 9th. Cleaning and remediation, though, are going to take a few weeks longer. The facility is looking at potentially adding security in the building so that they can help prevent future situations like this. Anecdotally, they have heard other branches across the country are also having issues with drug use inside their buildings. Guys.
Well, that's interesting because at first when we heard this, we were all shocked, and you think, just Boulder?
Yeah, and they've been asking around, and that was a message they were emphasizing. This is just not a Boulder County issue.
Yeah, and it's an issue now they're learning from everyone what they do and how they deal with it. All right, thank you, Kelly.
11 rounds of voting, and Republicans can still not decide on a House Speaker to lead their new majority. A small group of holdouts, including Colorado's Lauren Boebert, are blocking the majority. They have made history now, the longest election for Speaker since 1859.
The entire conference is going to have to learn how to work together. So it's better that we go through this process right now so we can achieve the things we want to achieve for the American public.
Congresswoman Boebert is one of the leaders of the opposition to McCarthy. Boebert has changed her vote for Speaker 3 times in 2 days. The holdouts aren't really trying to get their candidates elected. That's not going to happen. They're just casting protest votes at this point. When criticized that she doesn't have a realistic plan beyond this obstruction, Boebert said they have, quote, many, many plans. Democrats are united in their support of Congressman Hakeem Jeffries from New York. Tonight, Colorado Democrat Joe Neguse nominated him for the 11th time.
The last several days have been difficult for the country and for the American people as they have watched what has unfolded in this chamber, as they have seen the dysfunction laid bare on the other side of the aisle. And I suspect that some Americans watching will recall the dysfunction of years past.
NBC News reports tonight that some of the Republican holdouts have agreed to a deal to vote for McCarthy. Not enough for him to become Speaker right away, but enough that he could then put pressure on the last holdouts. A House committee says if they're not able to figure this out by next week, congressional aides will not get paid. The House will be back at it tomorrow morning.
For the past month, we've heard countless officials talk about the migrants who are coming here. Now we're hearing from the people who are making the journey themselves. 4 months ago, Alexander and his wife, Maylene, came to the U.S. with their 10-year-old son. In 2016, many Venezuelans began fleeing their homes in search for more stability due to violence, threats, and poverty. They began their journey in Chile, making their way through 11 counties, mostly cut by foot from start to finish. This family says their journey felt like a test, even almost losing hope after the most difficult part.
Un momento en Costa Rica, digamos lo que tuve un quiebre, un momento de desahogo, de que ¿por qué tan difícil la prueba? Pero siempre algo dentro de uno siempre te dice lucha, tú puedes, vamos.
Paz más que todo, estar seguro en un lugar ya que no lo pudimos lograr en nuestro país.
They went on a dangerous journey for their son Angelo in the hopes that he can grow up in a stable home without fear. They're currently being sheltered at Regis University after the city asked for another shelter to help accommodate families. President Biden is laying out new plans to stem the influx of migrants at the border. The U.S. will accept up to 30,000 migrants per month from Nicaragua, Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, in an expansion of the so-called humanitarian parole program. Migrants must apply for U.S. entry before leaving their home countries. Those who do not come to the U.S. under that program may be expelled under Title 42. Biden is calling on Congress to pass immigration reform, arguing his executive powers can only do so much. But those conversations can't start until a Speaker of the House is sworn in.
Christian Glass's final moments were recorded on police body camera, but his parents would really rather that you think of their son before that decision to call 911 for help, before Clear Creek County deputy shot and killed him.
Lost in the crime, but Christian was, as you say, Christian was a person, and he had a lot to offer the world.
Sally and Simon Glass remember Christian's creativity, his artistic soul. They told us their 22-year-old loved making things, loved putting things together. They say Christian also protected people, fighting bullies on the playground as a child. The Glass family says they wish that the other officers present that night in June, the night that Christian called 911 for help with his car and ended up shot, they wish those other deputies and officers would have stepped in to protect him as Christian protected others.
When he was surrounded, and that guy was swearing at him, effing this and effing that, and you know, the treatment and the behavior of him. I mean, he was being bullied. I mean, he's being terrorized and bullied. And he just ended up, I mean, he was scared to begin with, but in the end, he would have just been absolutely petrified.
The deputy who shot Christian is facing second-degree murder charges. An outside investigation found that now former deputy Andrew Bune did not follow his department's policies when he broke the car window and fired.
Police in Boulder say someone stabbed an employee at a bookstore. It happened about 3 today at the Barnes & Noble on 30th and Pearl. Police say an employee confronted someone at the door and that person stabbed the employee. The employee is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Officers say they arrested the suspect within a minute of the attack.
Being busy comes with the job when you sign up to be a firefighter. Turns out the craziest day for Denver Fire last year had little to do with firefighting. December 24th was the busiest day ever recorded for Denver Fire Department. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger explains how there's a lot of water involved.
Movement is constant.
Busy house.
Inside a fire station.
Yeah, it was a crazy day for us.
Of all the crazy days, December 24th was the craziest.
And it's just a normal Sunday.
The craziest ever.
And then you pile on some water breaks, and it was a busy day.
Denver Fire responded to the most calls in a single day in the department's entire history, the day before Christmas. There were only 3 fires, 21 car crashes, and an average amount of EMS calls. Then there was an onslaught of people calling because their pipes burst.
On a day like the 24th, everybody was going. Everybody had to be. It was an all-hands-on-deck situation.
From Denver to South Metro and every department in between, firefighters spent their Christmas Eve getting soaked.
Some water breaks are really easy. We can identify really quickly where that break is, and we can identify where the shutoff valve is. There are others where we're going to have to search throughout the building.
Denver Fire usually responds to between 300 to 400 calls a day. As temperatures warmed up after a brutal freeze, the department fielded 809 calls for help and responded to 579 on December 24th. Around half dealt with water problems.
And we all saw it coming. We saw that this was going to have the potential to freeze some pipes.
A crazy day for firefighters that had nothing to do with fire. Now, as Denver grows, the number of calls firefighters respond to is growing as well. 2022 was also the busiest entire year ever for Denver Fire.
Something tells me they're geared up for 2023 to be wilder, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see if we get another one of those crazy freezes that bursts everybody's pipes. I don't think they want another one of those.
Yeah. Mark, thank you.
Emergency managers in Jefferson County say they still don't know how an emergency alert meant for 25 people in Lakewood ended up going to 168,000 phones across the whole county. The investigation into the rogue alert is done, and they can't figure out how it happened. Last month, Jeffco tried to tell people along Robb Street to stay inside while police were at an apartment complex. Somehow, the phone calls, texts, and emails went out to people all across the county, nowhere close. Jeffcom 911 says it investigated the issue with their opt-in alert company, Rave Mobile Safety, and they ruled out human error. But they couldn't figure out what went wrong or how to avoid repeating the issue. Jeffcom 911's director says from now on, they'll have a second person look over the alerts before they hit send, just in case. We asked Director Jeff Streeter if they plan to stick with the same system that blew up an alert with no explanation. And he told us, quote, "We have complete confidence with Rave and this alerting product, and we have no intention of leaving this partnership at this time." Jeffco's contract with the company lasts until 2026. Another thing went wrong that night. Some of the alert phone calls showed up as a call from Greece. The county says that seems to be a problem on the cell phone companies. And we asked T-Mobile, one company with the weird number, about it. And they told us it seems like the number got changed before it got to them.
There has been substantial improvement in his condition over the past 24 hours.
Doctors say Bills player Damar Hamlin is making progress as the NFL decides what it's going to do with that game that paused when he collapsed.
A bird flu is starting to kill more birds in the state and other animals as well.
If we all just collectively do it, then it'll make it easier for everybody.
He's out there doing what the city of Denver will not do and the sun hasn't been able to do. Clear, safe path for pedestrians and cyclists.